ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय।
श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि।
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्।
சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा रामानुजतया पात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् சீரொன்று தோப்பும் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் ஆரொன்று சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேர கோமளவும் வாழ்வு.
So we saw that the Pancaratra Raksa by Swami Vedanta Deshika asserts that, concludes that, irrespective of the type of temple that we worship with the Pancaratra tradition, whether it is Swayam, Vyaktam or Divyam, you can say Putta, etc., Adi, Utkrishta Phaladam. These two, of course, Kalottare, in the later times, it will give us all the best fruits. Utkrishta Phaladam. So, aparetu ahu. When we say aparetu ahu, others said. What about who are the others? So generally, some other traditions generally say some other tradition like Vaikhanasa. Number one. Another meaning underlying this apare meaning, others, opponents. So those who oppose our views. In fact, we can include Shaiva tradition. Yeah, Purva Pakshis we create Purva Pakshis. But when we say apare, the third meaning is they are not significant. They are not to be considered. Their opinions do not matter. That's the meaning of apare. This is the beauty in Sanskrit. Simply apare means others. If you can't call them outsiders because they know some tradition in the temple. We can't call it a general public who do not know anything about temple tradition. We are talking of temple traditions, not any other tradition, temple traditions. Especially we want them to know Pancaratra is to be applied for Vishnu temples. Shaiva Agama is to be applied for Shiva temples. Vaikhanasa is also one of the two major categories of Vishnu temples. And you have some other traditions also. And again, it depends upon the categories of temples like Swayam Vyaktam, self-manifested, divine figure, or constructed by divinities, Divyam. Then Saibdham, there were sages who constructed, and Manusham also. Ramadas constructed Bhadrachalam temple from the government money, of course. That is Manusham, can say. Created, man-made also. And that way we have 6 categories of temples, and again in the Pancaratra tradition we have 4 Siddhantas. And we have Siddhantaras also. We have subdivisions of Siddhantas, or rather different traditions apart from these 4 main traditions. So in all these cases, you find that there are people who either know Pancharatra and criticize. Those who know Vaikhanasa criticize Pancharatra. And there are people within the Pancharatra tradition who find fault with the Pancharatra tradition because they understand differently. I won't say misunderstand. And again, Shaiva Agama, they oppose vehemently this tradition. In fact, there is a mixture of all traditions in some temples where all gods are present at present. Because we always have temples with all gods. So all traditions will mix up. If one priest is absent in Pancharatra tradition, the other priest in Vaikhanasa tradition will take over on a particular day or even for a long time. And also even Shaivagama. For example, even our complex, our premises has got Vinayaka temple, Hanuman figure, then Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, and some more. The same priest does everything. He doesn't know anything, but he does everything.
சுவாமி அடியேன் இது எந்த ஆகமத்துல வருது? ஏன்னா பாஞ்சராத்திரமும் இல்ல, வைகானதமும் இல்ல, சைவமும் இல்ல அப்படின்னு இது காம்பினேஷன் ஆஃப் இல்ல. இதுக்குன்னு ஏதோ ஒரு ஃபார்மெட் இருக்கு இல்லையா? தேர் ஷுட் பி சம் சார்ட் ஆஃப் ஃபார்மெட் beyond this Vaikhanasa or Pancharatra or Saiva. There should be some religious preparation on that. How they will move, Samprokshana, daily puja.
No, that's why even I don't go to Samproshnam. So that's a great subject. Daily puja. We are concerned with daily puja. He knows Namavali. The Advaita priest knows Namavali of Hanuman. That's all. He doesn't know the Tiruvaradhanam of Sriman Narayana. Now, a joke from my father, respected father long ago. Charles Darwin was approached by people, many people. Each one, supplied by plucking one limb of every insect and then showed it to Charles Darwin. They combined head of a bee, then the tail, rather the wings of a fly, and so on. And then they asked the scholar, Charles Darwin, sir, what kind of bug is this, sir? He said it is humbug. So in the same way, we are doing humbug in the temple when priests do not know what the tradition at all. I don't know, Keshav Swami should support us by saying, what is the tradition followed in Vinayaka temple? Because there is no figure of Shiva there. So we have Vinayaka temple only. So for Vinayaka, what tradition is followed? Again, if you have Kartikeya temple, say for example Parani Kartikeya Murugan temple, what tradition would you follow? Ask in our case, I will answer the question. What will you do for Hanuman? Oh, okay. So, Shaiva or Shakta? Again, there is a confusion. So you ask me about Hanuman. Nothing about Hanuman except Namavali. While doing Archana, Hanuman's names will be Hanuman. Yeah, Hanuman is worshipped by both Vaishnava and Shaiva. But the only important aspect of the puja is Namavali, Archana by Namavali. And all other processes involved in worshipping Hanuman will be just as or same as Tiruvaradhanam of Lord Vishnu. We never do anything else. When you anoint Hanuman's figure, divine figure, you say Purusha Sukta or Taittiriya Upanishad. Shodashopacara I say. So regarding no, Shodashopacara is common to everything. For example, you show the mirror, you show the umbrella, and so on. So that is different. I mean, that is very easy. What mantra will you use? What songs? Would you use Tamil or Sanskrit? And if Tamil were from, if Sanskrit were from, we will not do anything else except Panchasuktam or Taittiriya Upanishad. And you can even take Alvar's Vennai Alainda Kunangam, Periyalvar's Neerattam for Hanuman. So again, please remember what we said in the earlier sessions. Antaryami of any god is even, take any god. Take any god, Antaryami will be Lord Vishnu. So remember, not Hanuman, but Lord Vishnu. Now, so we are going to the paragraph. Utkrishta Siddhanta Svikara Vachananam Swayam Vyaktasthana Vishayatva Pakshaha. Now, there is an importance attached to, utmost importance attached to Swayam Vyakta. What is special about it? Should we follow only Swayam Vyakta tradition, the temple of the category called Swayam Vyakta, self-manifest, to all the deities in different temples? You take, for example, Daivam is there, Daivam. Would you use Swayam Vyakta tradition for Daivam tradition, or Saiddham tradition, or Manusham tradition, and so on? What will you use? Now this paragraph tells us that whatever be the temple type, we will have only Swayam Vyakta type tradition. And that is the best. This paragraph says that is the best. So Utkrishta, you can say, superior to everything else. So Utkrishta Siddhanta, so Siddhanta tradition, Svikara, acceptance, Vachananam. Now we are reading the bold letters, which is the title of the paragraph. Yeah. Swayam Vyakta Sthana Vishayatva Pakshaha. As Keshavdas Swami put it, Purva Pakshaha. You cannot call it as Purva Pakshaha, but this is one of the opinions of a few people, a group of people. Apare, it's a plural. Therefore, at least three people must be there together to say that Swayam Vyakta tradition should be followed for all temples, for all Vishnu temples, in the Pancaratra tradition. Let us not go to mix up with the Vaikhanasa. Here, so Swayam Vyakta Sthana, if the Lord in the divine figure is in the form of self-manifest, then Vishayatva Paksha. Vishayatva matter, Pakshaha side. So the argument is on the side of the Swayam Vyakta temple tradition, which is the best tradition. Utkrishta Siddhanta Svikara Vachananam. So you take the words of this Utkrishta Siddhanta. So what is again Utkrishta Siddhanta? There is a decision there. Already there is a conclusion. Which is the best? Among the temple figures also, Swayamvakta is the best. If I construct a temple and if I establish a temple, that will be the most inferior. So the next level, higher level will be Saidham. Another next level, higher level will be Daivam. And then another level will be the highest level will be Swayamvakta. For example, Kanchipuram is Daivam because Brahma performed penance towards Lord Vishnu and he did not inform his wife Saraswati before performing the penance at Kanchipuram. Brahma was directed by Vishnu to perform penance at Kanchipuram. And then Lord Vardaraja, called otherwise as Pranatarti Haraha, came out of the sacrificial fire. So it's called Daivam. It's not Saidham or Swayamvyaktam or Manusham. So here, out of the 8 Swayamvyakta Kshetras, Kanchipuram is not one among them. So here, Aparetu Ahu. The word but tells you that it need not be taken seriously. Or the other way about also. You must consider this also, that's a mean. 2 means but. Ahu who said, Vyavasthita sthana vishayam eva idam. Apakrishta samhita tyagena utkrishta samhita parigraha vachanam iti. Now we are now talking about a temple which has already been established in a different tradition. And we found that it is lower in category, the quality, is inferior in standards. And therefore, what do? We change over. We are the priest in charge, change over. That happened in Srirangam. Dhanvantari Sannidhi belonged to Vadagalai tradition, again Pancaratra. The Pancaratra tradition is not different because the priests also change. But the temple is called something else. Dhanvantari. And also what you call Nathamuni Sannidhi near what you call Rangavilas. The shopping complex is there. And against, I think, Tirupanalvar Sannidhi, opposite to Tirupanalvar Sannidhi. And one more Sannidhi also is there, and I think Yashodas will remember that. So when you enter into the Rangaranga Tower, Gopuram, Vittala is there, one more Alvar is there. And between the shops you have Tirupanalvar, again Hanuman, Tondaradipudi, yes. So just before Tondaradipudi Alvar, we have Nathamuni Sannidhi. Nathamuni Sannidhi was in the hands of Vadagalai people, and now it has come to Tengalai people. Then Kuresha, right. Nathamuni is on the left hand side when you enter into the Rangaranga Gopuram, where out of which you leave your footwear. So here, what I mean by this is change of priests by tradition also happened. And that is because either mismanaging or unable to manage. They were unable to manage, and therefore, that means again unable to manage in the sense money is very important, income was less. And therefore they transferred. So, for example, another example out, yes.
1 minute. This Tirupati temple was originally Pancharatna. Then Ramanuja only changed it to Ekanasa. There is one story like that.
But even now it is Pancaratra.
No, Tirupati Ekanasa Swami. Tirupati upper the hills it is Vaikhanasa.
Oh, Tirumala is Vaikhanasa. Okay. So, in the case of Tirukkuralappan Sannidhi, Vamana, that is Trivikramavatara, is just near Rajagopuram. When you enter into the Rajagopuram, it is on the left side from outside. This is long before, much before the main temple of Ranganatha. So Tirukkuralappan Sannidhi was managed by Swayamacharya Purushas. 11 committee members were there, and they felt it is not possible to run the temple. Therefore, they transferred it to Ahobilamat. So the Ahobilamat is now maintaining the Tirukkuralappan temple. So what I want to say as example is, traditions may change, priests may change, but what should be the best procedure to be adopted? Then it is to be identified by the priest. Already established tradition is there, but that tradition is not good. I won't say bad, but it's not good. It is not the best. And therefore, Vyavasthita sthana meaning established place. Vishayam. So this is a matter for consideration. And again, this Evedam, the word Evedam is not available in these books. Kosheshu Nasti. Look at the footnotes, number 2. Kosheshu Nasti. This word is not available. Eva idam is not available. And again, the word Vishayam is wrong in print. It's a printing mistake. It is a Pullinga Shabda, it should be Vishayaha. Vishayaha. And there is no connection with that. Neither Napumsakalingam nor the Dvitiya Vibhakti, accusative case of the word Vishayam. Vishayam can be either accusative case or Pullinga. It can be only accusative case of Pullinga Shabda, masculine gender. It has no connection with Napumsakalingam. Vishayam is not Napumsakalingam. It's not a neutral gender word. So, because Eva idam also refers to Napumsakalingam, but you cannot say idam Vishayam. It's wrong. Sanskrit grammar is wrong. So why I say this is, the very word itself is wrong. And how do you find, you can find easily mistakes in tradition also. So what happens is, apakrishta siddhant samhita tyagena. So you give up tyagena, by giving up samhita, the book, apakrishta samhita, bad book. Apakrishta samhita is inferior book. Inferior book. Then utkrishta samhita parigraha vachanam. The words should be accepted. Vachanam, the words, parigraha should be accepted from Utkrishta Samhita, the best book. Now, how do you do it? Tathahi, for illustration. Tathahi means for example. Venugopalan Swami is a little different from the literal meaning. Tatha means so, S-O, same in the same manner. He means indeed. And unfortunately, there are two words. Not Tathahi is not a single word. Tathahi they are two words. And you have to separate them as Tatha and He. Tatha means so, He means surely, indeed, definitely. But the meaning is illustrated. Illustrated. Example. Yaduktam kaloktare. What has been said in the later times? So you remember the word, last line which we started today? Yaduktam kalottare, meaning the previous line of the aparetvahu. The swayam vyaktam daivam, that is it. Swayam vyaktam tatha divyam utkrishta phaladam yatha. Take that sentence into consideration. So kalottare, what do you do? Aneka bheda binnancha pancharatra akhya agamam. Now it has answered the question of Rajagopalan Swami here. Because how do you say, how do you call a mixed-up tradition? Two or three traditions are mixed up. How do you call them? What is the name which can be given to them? Aneka Bheda Bhinna. It has been divided into different categories. Pancaratra Akhyam Agam. Again, please remember, the word Agamam is not Napumsakalinga Shabda. Therefore, the very words are ungrammatical. So, Pancharatra Akhyam, okay, Akhyam can be said, Akhyam can be said in three genders, but whereas Agamam cannot be called Agamam, because Agamaha, it's a masculine gender word. Agamaha has got three meanings again. Number one, scriptures. Number two, arrival. Number three, temple tradition. And you can say fourth meaning also as orders, O-R-D-E-R, instruction. You can say that because scriptures are strict instructors. Therefore, so again the grammatical mistake is there. So Purvam Agama Siddhantam Mantrakhyam Tadanantaram. Now, when we take up tradition which has been already not good, and we want to change over to some other superior tradition, then we have to look at the mantras. Purva Bhagam, Purvam Agama Siddhantam. So, first let us analyze whether it is a temple tradition. Is it a temple tradition based on scriptures? We must verify. We must verify, number one, whether it is a temple tradition. Number two, whether the tradition is based on scriptures. That's why it's Agama Siddhanta, called Agama Siddhanta. Here Agama meaning scriptures also. Not only it's a temple tradition, but temple tradition depends on scriptures only. Nothing else. And again, Pancharatra is a proof. Lakshmi Tantram is a proof for showing the connection of scriptures with the temple tradition. So, Purvam Agama Siddhanta, because in the temple tradition also you find that sacrifices are involved. Sacrifices are there, are part of the temple tradition. The sacrifices are from scriptures. Yajurveda gives us the procedure for sacrifices. Rigveda gives us only the hymns, Hyms, and the Yajurveda gives us the procedures for sacrifice. And therefore, in order to understand the procedures of sacrifice and perform the sacrifice, we need, they are all included under temple tradition. So, in order to understand the temple tradition, we have to understand scriptures and how to perform sacrifices. So, Purvam Agama Siddhantam. So, let us verify whether it is from scriptures. Mantrakhyam. Do you know the name of the mantra? I was asking Keshavdas Swami last week about a mantra by audio. He could not recognize, I could not recognize. We must send it to someone who could recognize the voice. What is a portion of the Veda? Keshavdas Swami was asking about a Madhva reciting the scripture. And it is for a particular function, I think, called Ramanavami or Navaratri. I don't know, I forget. So again, so you find that I think you have skipped the page, or you have to go up. Yeah, you have to go up. We have not finished this page. Now, so Tadanantaram, after that, yeah. You said we are not clear about the pronunciation. That's a problem. That's a problem for us. our ears are either not good or his pronunciation is not good. Okay, Vedic and Sanskrit, right? This is the first book that I encountered in Annamala University while studying MA Sanskrit, Vedic Concordance. Again, Mantrakyam, Tadanantaram later to that, Tantram, Tantrantam. Now, after understanding whether the tradition is a temple tradition, number one, number two, whether it is from scriptures, number two, number three, now what is the procedure adopted? Tantram. Then Tantrantaram. So what is that? You please note, Tantram is a pullinga word, Tantraha, and as well as Napumsakalinga word, and whereas Tantrantaram is only Napumsakalinga word, neuter gender word. Tantrantaram cannot be any other gender, cannot belong to any other gender. So Tantram Tantrantam iti, cha iti, Chaturdha Parikirti. So let us test the bad tradition first, or the irrelevant tradition first, that whether it is tradition from the temple or tradition of the temple or tradition of the scriptures, and the procedure of the temple tradition or any other procedure of the temple tradition. Find out from other sources whether the tradition followed practically in the temple has been supported by a proof in some books or other. That's the meaning of it. So now we go to 32. Iti Chaturdha Vibhagam Samanyena Pratipadya. And this is another joke. Now we are talking about the four types of test for not a good tradition, for not a good tradition. It is Samanyena Pratipadya. This is ordinary presentation. It's going to be special presentation. It's going to be serious presentation in the next line. What is that? So we divided into four types. The temple tradition, scriptural tradition, then Tantra tradition and Tantrantra tradition. These four. Vibhagam, the division, Samanyena, generally, ordinarily, Pratipadya, having explained, Narayaniyam, Audadhyam, Agni, Kashyapa Samhitam, Ityadina, Shastrani etani, Suvrata, iti Suvratam, Vrataha, iti Antena Agamadishu Siddhanteshu Chaturushu, Katipaya Samhitanam, Niveshanam, Anuktanam api, Samhitanam, Upalakshanataya, Udahritya, Etadvai Pancharatrakyam Shastram, Sarvottamottamam, iti Chaturvidham api, Pancharatra Shastram, Sarvottamatvena Nigamya. So I told you this paragraph establishes the supremacy of the Pancharatra tradition. And that's what we said, Pakshaha. Pakshaha. The title in the bold letters were Pakshaha. The side is, our now argument is, the Pancharatra tradition is the best among the best. You say in the long English, most rightest. Most rightest. So I mean, I want to say that because now what should we understand here? So Narayaniyam, who is the propitiated deity? The deity is only Narayana. Narayaniyam doesn't refer to Bhattatri, Narayana Bhattatri's book with 1032 verses after receiving the disease called rheumatism, Pakshapataha, Pakkavadam Tamil, rheumatism from his teacher Pisharati, Bharata Pisharati. Bharata Pisharati was his teacher, and from him he got the disease. What we call through the process called karma vipaka prayaschitta dhanam. The teacher donated to the pupil the disease, and he got himself relieved of the disease by writing Narayani. That is not the Narayaniam which we are referring to here. So Narayaniam is that which belongs to Narayan, the only God. So Narayaniam, Audadhyam, where from did he spring up? Udadhi, from the ocean. Narayana came out of the ocean in Vyuha Rupam. So we are talking of Vyuha Rupam in the Archa form. Please remember the four, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Vasudeva. We have temples for them, Archa forms for them. So they are from Audadhyam, Udadhi. Udakam is water. Uda is abbreviation of Udakam, water. Udakam is water. There are so many words for water. So Uda meaning the abbreviation of the word Udakam. Udakani nidhiyante iti udadihi. Where there are a lot of waters, meaning ocean. So Audadhyam is that which came out of the ocean, namely the temple figure, the divine figure, plus Agni. So it came from Agni, Kanchipuram, very classic example. Lord Varadaraja called Pranatarthihara came out of fire. So Agni. Then Kashyapa Samhitam. Kashyapa is a special name of the sage from whom, because he established the temple. So then the temple has been named after Kashyapa. So Ityadina, from by this, etc. Etc. where is there? ETC where is there? Not only these four. Narayaniyam, Audadyam, Agni, Kashyapam. Samnitam is named. So Shastrani etani suvratam or suvrataha. So take these shastras and believe them as the good one. Believe them as the good ones. Suvratam. We are talking of Suvratam. Sorry, not Suvrataha. Suvrataha is name of the Lord. Mahavishnu in Vishnu Sahasranam. So Suvrataha, it becomes Pullinga then. Here it is Napumsakalinga. So a good vow is called these four shastras and etc. is there. There are so many other shastras also which are good. So iti antena, thus we come to an end. So agamadi siddhanteshu, among these traditions of temple procedures, chaturshu, among the four, namely Narayaniyam, Audadyam, Agni and Kashyap. Please remember the latest four. We are not talking about the previous four, namely Swayam Vyaktam, Daivam, Tantram and Tantrantam. So we are talking about these four, the immediate four. So Chaturshu, Katipaya Samhitanam, of a few books, Samhita book, you can say Samhita is again name given to a respectable book called scriptures. So Samhita meaning is a book, but Samhita is the name of the portion of scriptures. And this book is almost equal to the scripture, therefore we call it Samhita. So Katipaya Samhita, Katipaya means a few. So Katipaya Samhitanam. So what is very important? Niveshanam. Niveshanam is placing. Placing is a simple word is Niveshanam, but you can say Samprokshanam for the first time. Vigraha Pratishtapanam. You can say it in this way. First time a divine figure is consecrated in a new place called a temple. We are going to call it as a temple. So Niveshanam, so placing, that means placing the divine figure. Is there any procedures? Are there any procedures? No. Anuktanam api. In certain samhitas, we don't have mention how the divine figure should be established. So in those types of books, samhitanam, what should we do? Upalakshanataya. How do we understand those books which do not say about new establishment of divine figures in new places? So Upalakshanataya. Upalakshanataya meaning we take them, consider them as something connected with other traditions. We call it accessories. We are calling it as branches. So Upalakshanataya, let us not find a lot of difference between this and that. Upalakshanataya, taking a concession in the definition, udahritya, having given example, you find out finally that what do you conclude? Etadvai Pancharatrakyam Shastram Sarvottamottamam. Because some establishing procedures are not said clearly in some books called Samhitas. Again, we find that Pancharatram is the best. Sarva Uttamottam. The best of the best among all the best. You can use 3 times the best. Sri Rama Rama Rameti. In that way. You can use a sentence in English starting with because. And there should be 3 because. 3 times because. It's what we call it's a competition for English sentence. Constructing an English sentence. Starting with because. 3 times you say best. So Pancharatrakyam Shastram, the science called Pancharatra. Why truly? This, why truly? Definitely, Sarvottamatam. Iti. Chaturvidhamapi Pancharatra Shastram, Sarvottamatvena Nigam. So among the Pancharatra traditions, rather within the Pancharatra tradition, if you can find 4 books, then all the 4 are the best. I think, though we are little earlier in, so we will read the next paragraph next session. Agamadi Siddhantanam Savyam Vyarnam Swayam Vektadi Namna Api Nirdesh. So while the traditions are named in Pancharatra, there are so many, though there are so many differences. Every time the tradition is named Swayam Vyaktam. That is the title given here now. So Nirdeshaha, indication. Nirdeshaha is indication. Nideshaha means order. Fortunately, it is not an order. So Nirdeshaha, it is indicated. It is what we call Suchana given. Pointed out that Swayam Vyakta Adi Namna. Again, in all the traditions, you find that this Pancharatra tradition is for Swayam Vyakta Kshetras only. This Pancharatra tradition is meant for only Daiva tradition, Daiva temple only. It is for Saiddha temple only. It is for Manusha temple only. It is mentioned, clearly mentioned in the beginning, in the Pancharatra tradition.
ராமானுஜதயா பாத்திரம் ஞான வைராக்கியபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம் கவிதார்க்கிகசிம்மாய கல்யாண குணசாலினே ஸ்ரீமதே வெங்கடேசாய வேதாந்த குரவே வாரிதிவசிரோபங்க பஞ்சாபராக்கிரமா ஸ்ரீமான் வெங்கடநாதாய சிரம் விஜயதா திருவேங்கடமுடையான் சொன்ன பழமொழியும் ஓரொன்றுதானே அமையாதாதரணியும் வாழ்வாகவானே கோமளவும் வாழ்வும்.
ராமானுஜதயா பாத்திரம் ஞானவைராக்யபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம்.
कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः. சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ